Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm back with another pick of the day, another top pick, which actually is a cracking album, I must say. A fantastic album. It's also the most recent full-length studio album from one of the most notable names in metal. This is Udo Dirkshneider, and his band with Touchdown from 2023. So it's been out for a little while now. As I say, it's the most recent full-length album. It's obviously a little bit too late in the day for me to be doing a new release review of this. I thought, hey, this is definitely a top pick. And interestingly, I have only very recently started to actually explore the albums of Udo. Of course, Udo is probably most notably known for his time spent in one of the most influential and important heavy metal bands, German metal bands of all time, the mighty Accept, where Udo obviously featured on probably their biggest albums, including Metal Heart, Reckless and Wild, Russian Roulette. He also came back after a period of absence. He came back and featured on some more absolutely brilliant albums like Objection Overruled and Death Row and Predator. But I have to admit, I neglected to explore his solo stuff for a long time until recently, and then I have been absolutely hooked on Udo's solo stuff. The music of Udo or U.D.O, is absolutely fan-frickin-tastic. There is not a bad album that I've heard within that time, and you just get some absolute belters. And actually, I was really pleasantly surprised with just how freaking good Touchdown is. So this is obviously the vinyl version, and I only acquired it on vinyl because the CD is very, very expensive. I think it comes with a DVD or Blu-ray or something, but it was in excess of £20. But this vinyl itself was about 17 or 18 when I found it on Amazon. So you might notice Udo, German heavy metal legend, absolutely. The aesthetics, the cover and the band line-up shots there, it's all very much based on American football. Very interesting choice of aesthetics there. I think that the cover is pretty metal. You know, you've got an American football there covered in spikes, which is awesome. Doesn't really correspond with the music that much, other than the title track, which closes out the album. It's a long album with 13 tracks there. Other than that one track, there's no other real references to American football. So that's interesting. But hey, whatever. It's pretty cool. It's pretty metal. So it's also a very nice double vinyl. So it's a double album here. I'll show this off just because it's freaking cool. Just looks super metal as well. Nice kind of silver marbled looking vinyl there. But what I will say is the aesthetics don't really do the music justice. Although it's quite cool having all the American football stuff, you know, that's very cool. The music itself is actually freaking brilliant. This album is an absolute ripper. This is proper heavy freaking metal. And although I haven't actually heard the album prior to this one, Game Over, I believe, I haven't heard that one yet, but I will say that some of the latter albums from Udo have been absolutely exceptional. This album included. This is an absolute beast of an album. I've also had another couple of great ones, in particular Decadent from 2015. We've had Steel House, Steel Hammer, just some really, really top-notch heavy metal albums. And it is good old traditional heavy freaking metal. You know, it's quite speed metal, thrash metal at times. And that's generally the kind of sound and style you get here. You know, if you like your Accept, then you're definitely going to dig this. But I think along with bands like Saxon or Raven even, you know, their latter material has been just as good as anything that came in the in the younger days, shall we say, the earlier days. But Touchdown, start to finish, cracking album. Udo is, I think he's over 70 years old. I think he's in his early 70s. He still sounds fantastic. He does actually still sound really, really good. You know, he doesn't sound like he did in his earlier career. No, because he's aged naturally, but he's still got a really good voice, really iconic vocal style, definitely. And I think Udo sounds brilliant here. As we can see, Udo there, front and centre, looking mean and serious as ever. Mr. Mean Machine himself is also joined by his son, Sven, on drums, and he is a fantastic drummer. His son is an absolute beast of a drummer. See if we've actually got the little insert here. Get the actual lineup names correct here. Interestingly, this album also features ex-Accept bassist Peter Baltes, or Baltes, not really quite sure on the pronunciation there. But Pete has now joined Udo on bass. As I say, Sven, absolute monster of a drummer. We've got D. Dammers on guitars and Andrei Smirnov on guitars as well. Really good musicians, very talented bunch. Can't fault the musicianship one little bit. Top freaking notch. Production wise, the album sounds fantastic as well. This is a really, really good sounding, strong heavy metal album. And it kicks off with an absolute level 10 beast of a track, Isolation Man. As soon as that drumming and that riffing starts pounding down the track, absolutely fantastic. It's another coronavirus pandemic inspired track, but it is excellent. An absolute speed machine. Freaking ripper. Then we've got The Flood, which is a pretty powerful, aggressive track. Full throttle heavy metal there. The Double Dealers Club is an interesting one. That's a little bit more mid-paced, but it's freaking fantastic. You know, really, really quite catchy, memorable, hook-filled track. Fight for the Right, and actually the following track, Forever Free, a popular song title. Very rousing tracks, you know, they've got a lot of energy there. Killer riffs, and actually just across the board, the guitar work is top notch. Really killer riffs, fantastic riffs, real headbang stuff. Some amazing solos and leads thrown in there for good measure. Punchline, really catchy. You know, a heavy track actually, a heavy hitting track. Sad Man Show is great. So's The Betrayer. Then we have an absolute monster of a track in Heroes of Freedom, a D-Day Operation Overlord inspired track, which again, that's freaking metal, and that is a heavy song. Again, some fantastic vocal work from Udo, sounding brilliant on there, and that's just an absolute riff machine. Better Start to Run is killer. The Battle Understood is a heavy head-banging rock-along track as well. Live in Hell is an interesting one as well, a bit more sort of mid-paced there before we get the anthemic Touchdown closing track there. So it's 13 tracks, quite a long album, less than 50 minutes I believe, so yeah, definitely less than an hour there, but start to finish, really good, high quality, heavy metal. Love it. And actually, I think fair's fair, that is a good cover. I like the fact that you've got that colour scheme, you know, silver and blue. The whole thing just looks very metal. I just thought it was a very interesting choice of aesthetics and theme, because I don't know anything about American football, I will admit. Maybe Udo and company, maybe they're big fans of that sport. And if they are, more power to them, because that doesn't put me off at all. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, and I like the fact they've gone to extreme lengths with all their aesthetics and outfits there. Cool stuff. And actually, the title track is really good. It's a really rousing, it's almost got like a bit of a power metal kind of vibe to it at times. But, you know, to be honest, this is just full throttle, pedal to the metal, heavy freaking metal. I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and really, really pleasantly surprised by just how good this album is and just how good Udo continues to be. I mean, that band has released so many live albums, but all of them seem to be really freaking good as well. I think if you're not familiar with Udo, Touchdown is just as good an album to start with, and showing off that one as well, Decadent, because I think this is a fantastic album. This is just 12 tracks of brilliant Udo, actually. So if you're not familiar with Udo, check out any of these albums I've already mentioned, like Steel Hammer, Steel Factory. Those more recent albums have been so strong. But if you want some classics, Animal House is fantastic. Man and Machine. They've got Faceless World as well, which I'm yet to pick up a copy of. But you know, these are classic freaking albums. Anyway, Touchdown is a top pick of the day. I'm loving it. Tracks you need to check out: Isolation Man, The Flood, I would say Heroes of Freedom, and Touchdown as well. Great tracks, great album. Udo Dirkshneider, what an absolute legend, an icon. Check this album out if you haven't heard it. If you have, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this one. Excellent album from an excellent bunch of musicians and a living legend. Check it out and let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. The support is very much appreciated. Thank you. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Until next time, take care of yourselves and stay heavy.